We're just testing right now to make sure that everyone can hear us from our broadcast. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, could you just type into the chat box that you can hear us? We're just testing right now to make sure that everyone. All right, we are going through a presentation to talk to you all about the graduation drive-in that we're going to have at Stuttgart High School. As we begin this presentation, please save your questions until the end. Type them into the chat box. You'll be able to ask them, and we'll go back through and we will respond to your questions. We are recording this meet, so we will share the video via our senior Google Classroom page and via the Facebook page. So we're going to get started. Senior awards, due to the months of planning that senior awards take, we have had to record the different organizations providing awards, and we will put that together into a video that will be received by you on Tuesday, May 25th after students go home for you to watch at home. Most students who received an award received their award live with the teacher that presented the award so that we could record them receiving the award. Seniors' last day is Tuesday, May 25th. It is their last day and it is a full day of school. This day is where they do all of their final checkout, and they are unable to complete checkout prior to this day. If students specifically do not attend seminar on this day, because seminar is going to be a graduation walkthrough for them, they are ineligible to participate in graduation. This seminar counts as their required rehearsal. On their last day, they're going to need to return library books, textbooks, uniforms. They've already returned their laptops and any instruments, as well as complete a final checkout with counseling, the registrar, and Mr. Berkman and I to make sure that we have everything that we need to get them across the stage in the manner that we need to. Seniors will have special events scheduled for their last day, so we really need them in school. Remember that we are asking that you please not travel or participate in large events between our last day of school on May 25th and graduation on June 3rd. This is specifically a COVID mitigation, because if you test positive somewhere in between, you and your family, including your senior, cannot attend graduation, and that would be a real shame. So we're only asking for you to please do this. Obviously, we can't police you, but we are asking you. And then graduation. So you all know that we started with a few options, and then we had 2 different votes. We had many discussions, and a final decision was made for us to host a drive-in style graduation, similar to what we had last year. So what we get is a drive-in style graduation in our parking lot. It's live and in person, 1 vehicle per senior. Your senior needs to be in the car with you. Cars that do not have seniors will not be allowed to enter the parking lot. When we did this last year, we have close to exact numbers of parking spaces, considering the number of spaces that we have to block for our cameras to live feed and to take pictures of your children on stage. So a senior has to be in every car or you won't be allowed in. On Wednesday, June 2nd is graduation. We will allow cars to begin arriving at 5:15 with a start time of 6:30 and approximately a 2-hour runtime for all the speeches and for us to read all of the student names. So the 5:15 arrival, the way that you will come in and be parked is first come. First come doesn't mean that you get to pick your spot in the parking lot. We fill in closest to the school first and then keep going down. So if you're the first one here, you get those spots closest to the school, and then we start filling all the way down. The back row will be reserved for large vehicles. So those are those big vans and very large American style trucks. And so you will be directed when you come in based on the administrator's best approximation, whether or not you go to the car parking lane or the large car parking lane. In addition, the audio will be from the speakers this year, so you're going to need to roll down your windows because they're coming from our speakers, and they are loud enough, but they are much clearer than what we had through AFM last year. You need to make sure that you don't honk your horn and that there's nothing loud happening inside your car during the ceremony. There will be a time for horns at the end of the ceremony. There will be a live video feed. We have the video teacher from the middle school coming to put that together. He's going to have multiple cameras to switch between during the graduation ceremony. And so your families will be able to watch it that way, and then it will be recorded from that feed for you all to share after the fact as well. As you arrive, what's really important is that you use a regular sheet of paper and you write the name of your senior on that sheet of paper, and you put that sheet of paper in your dash on the driver's side because we're taking attendance as you come in so that we know that everyone is there before we begin. In addition, your seniors are going to have to show us their hat and their gown because we need to see that no alterations have been made. We can't decorate our caps or our gowns in any way, but please decorate your cars. Just remember not to include anything on your car decorations that adds height because we don't want to make the person behind you unable to see because of your decorations. There must be a senior in their cap and gown in every car to be allowed entry to the parking lot. There is no space for additional cars. And additionally, we don't allow walk-in people to graduation. So all of your guests must fit in your vehicle. The logistics. The parking will be in rows based on the size of your cars to ensure that you have a reasonable view of the stage. Students and families are only permitted to leave their vehicle when your student is being called to the stage, unless it's beforehand between when you arrive and when we start because you need to go to the bathroom or you're going to a photo booth station. Students will be pre-assigned groups of 20. We will send them an email that says for graduation, this is your group and this is your person number. So on stage, when we read the names, we'll say at this time, will group 1 please go to the staging area. And those students and their families will get out of their car and they'll walk over to the handicap lanes, where a teacher will then make sure that they line up in alphabetical order so that they can continue to the next location and get in line to go directly on stage so that we make sure that everyone's in the right order as we read their names. When you finish, you'll go directly back to your car. Let's see. Yep, I think that's everything from that slide. So this is sort of the flow of where students and families will go. If you're parked in your cars, all the cars are going to face the front. So you'll come in the middle lane and in the last lane and you'll pull through. You'll be directed to pull through if you're the first car and to be in the back if you're the second car, all facing the stage. If you are on one of the outer edges, there are 2 large screens. The only thing that hinders our ability to use the screens is lightning. So we're hoping for just a drizzle because that really cools it down. The students and the families will get out. They'll walk towards the handicap spaces, and that box over there is where they get lined up. And then they'll continue. There will be a spot in the corner right when you get to the sidewalk, as if you were going to the school, where there will be an opportunity for your family to stand if they choose to and one of you can hand the teacher that is stationed there your phone, and they will take a family picture or a senior picture with the school in the background. This is not a professional photo. This is just something that we are offering to you. We can't do more than one photo because we have 183 families coming through the line. So you'll have to choose whether or not you want it to be just your senior with parents, your senior with siblings, your senior with the whole family. You'll have to choose how you want that. Then they'll move following these orange arrows towards the middle box, the box right across from the star in the middle. Those spaces on the star are what we have to block out so that we can get our live feed and our cameras right there, and to give parents that upfront location. So right before the stage, your student will continue in the line for about the last 3 people, and the parents will move over and they will go to a staging area, and it will be easy. There are a lot of teachers there to help direct you. Then parents stand at the staging area while their student crosses the stage. You can take videos, you can take pictures, whatever you want. We will have a photographer there to take a picture of your student receiving their diploma. They will receive their diploma on stage this year. So they'll take a picture of your student receiving their diploma, but it is by no means a professional photographer. It is just a photo that we're giving you. We'll put them in a folder and let you sort through it after graduation, but families are right there. So you can take as many photos, videos as you want to. When they leave stage, there will be a table for your students to pick up a few documents that will be clear what they are when you pick them up. And from there, they'll walk to the end of the aisle and then return to your car. When you're finished, you return to your car and you stay there. You don't get out and mingle, and nobody leaves until the end, because that would be a huge disruption to the ceremony, because at all times, people are walking through the parking lot. You cannot leave until it's over. So again, we want to ensure that as we're staging, when you leave your vehicle, because this is a DODEA event and DODEA's policies trump all other policies, all members who leave their vehicles will wear masks. Your vaccination status does not matter. DODEA has said that at schools, on school property, at school events, we must continue wearing masks through the end of this year. So we need to do that for this event. We'll allow for some social distancing, and spots. They will not necessarily be numbered. They'll be placed in order to help you see where you need to be. Families will stay together at all times until you separate before you go on stage. Right, once they're on stage, your student can take their mask off during the staging of the photo to get their diploma. Mr. Runninger will keep his mask on, and your student can take their mask off for that photo if they choose to. If they want to keep it on, that's fine too. So the event arrival starts at 5:15, and it's going to be first come, first serve, first seated in our parking lot, but not necessarily first served. You don't get your best choice at 5:15. We fill in from closest to farthest. The bathrooms in the high school will be open, but remember that depending on where you're parked, going to the bathroom from the parking lot could take 5 to 15 minutes, depending on if you're hauling little ones with you. So please be mindful of trying to get to the bathroom before the event starts, because if you go while the event is happening and you miss your students' time on the stage, we can't redo it. We can't hold them because someone's not there. So just try and keep track. Ask your student what their group number is to monitor where everything is. Students will all walk into this ceremony around 6:15. We'll get on the microphone and we'll ask all students to report to the front entry of the school, and we'll line them up to walk into graduation. They'll walk down the front row and then through the second row, and then through the third row and then back to their cars. And they are going to be doing that likely while we start the general welcome announcements, because it's going to take a little bit of time for them to walk all 3 of those lanes. Students cross the stage 1 at a time while receiving their diploma. During the ceremony, we do the national anthems for the United States and for Germany. But due to our event size, we stay in our cars, seated, during both anthems. We cannot have doors open and everyone getting out of their cars. This is the same thing we did last year. It's Garrison approved for this event. I know it's entirely atypical from what we normally do, but it's what we have to do. So stay in your cars during the anthems. Then we have live speeches from students, and there will be a hat toss at the end. However, at the end, in order for the hat toss to happen, only students, only seniors will be allowed to get out of their car, and they will walk to the lane that they're closest to. So if they're the front car, they'll walk in front of the car. If they're the back car, they'll walk behind the car. And they will stand at the front or back of their family's vehicle. And when we say they can do the hat toss, they'll toss them. I know that this means that you may not see the whole thing, but it's okay. We're recording it. There will be a way for you to see how it's happening. At the end, when they are able to throw their caps, that's when it's appropriate for honking and air horns and cheering. Faculty is going to be everywhere, and they really know their jobs. Like, seriously, if they weren't teaching anymore, being a parking attendant is totally what half of our people are made for. So please find a faculty member and ask them a question. They all know what we're doing and how to do it, or they know how to find the person who does know. What we need from your students right now is first intent. Due to the meticulous planning involved in this event, we have to know if a student plans on being at the event or not. We check at multiple points whether or not a student is present, because we don't want to expect them on stage and they not be there. So if there is a reason that your student is not coming, but you would still like us to post their picture and read their senior words that are here, then you can tell us that in an email. You can say, we can't be there due to this reason, but I would still like you to include my student in the reading of the graduates. Or you can send an email that says, we do not wish to participate, and we do not wish to have my student included in the reading of the graduates. And then you will be allowed to pick up your diploma and the other documents that you need the day after graduation from the main office of the school. The next thing that we need to make sure we have from each of your students, and they have this in their Google Classroom and in an email, they need to complete graduation words. As they cross the stage, we read their intent for college. And so this sounds like student is planning to attend this school, or is planning to enlist in this service branch, or is planning to take a gap year for this reason, or is planning to go directly into this job. So what are they planning to do? And if they're going into school, are they going to minor? If they know they're going to the military, do they have a specialty that they're going to do? And then they can have in order to one day become a this. And that is read while they're coming across the stage. We also have a senior slideshow that we run on the monitors as cars are arriving. And that is the senior year through the senior's eyes that we've sent to all students and is on their Google Classroom page. And Mr. Berkman resent the link for it. So parents or students can submit pictures. It only allows 10 pictures at a time, but it does allow multiple submissions. So we have to cut that off on Tuesday. No, on next Thursday, because we have to go through every photo and ensure that there's nothing that violates any school rules. So nothing that has drugs or alcohol in it, nothing that shows you breaking any law, nothing that has children in states of undress, because those would not be appropriate to post at this event. So parents can post what they have, students can post what they have, and we'll go through and make sure it's all appropriate. And that will be playing in the hour and 15 minutes before graduation. We really want to encourage you to decorate your car themed for graduation. But again, don't attach anything that's going to limit the visibility of the cars around you. So now we're ready to take questions. We only had a couple questions come in beforehand. One was about live feed, and we've addressed that, and one was about the senior speaker. We don't tell them who's speaking. It's a surprise. So they voted, and we tally those votes. We show the vote to administration, and we talk to the person who is speaking. And so currently, the only people that know are the senior sponsors, Mr. Renninger, and the person who is speaking. So we want that to be a surprise for students at graduation. And there will be students who speak as well, based on their offices in student council or class council or based on GPA, but we don't have those things finalized. GPA is not finalized until next Thursday. And so we don't have that information specifically until then. So at this point, if you have questions, if you would type them in either to the YouTube chat or to the Facebook chat, we can start addressing those. The senior slideshow is different from their lifetime slides. We typically use those at a senior sunset event, but we couldn't do that. So where are we using those, Mr. Berkman? It will come out as a slide presentation that we'll post to the Stuttgart High School page soon. We need Miss Blankenship's help with that. Someone asked, what are you expecting parents to submit? The slide with photos. So it's not the slide with photos. That submission date is long past. But it's senior year through your eyes. So any pictures that represent your senior's last year of high school, that's what we want. Potentially with your senior in it, or something that shows what their reality of high school looked like this year. Okay, we don't see any additional questions coming in. How do parents submit those photos? I believe that was in the last parent email that Mr. Berkman sent out. The link was there for you to submit those. So you just click that link and you submit them through that link, 10 pictures at a time. You said you were recording this. Will the slides be posted too? The slides will not be posted because they allow, we can post them as a PDF. Yeah, we can post the slides as well. If we think of questions after this, do we send them to Team Berkman via email? That would be the best way to get all of your questions answered succinctly. But if you think of questions later and you reply to the Facebook link that's there in our senior Facebook group, then other people who had those questions too will see the question and our response. So you can choose which way you want to do that. Okay, so let's remember that Tuesday is required for your students, that the seminar is going to be at the end of the day, and we are going to meet with all of the seniors to show them using the auditorium stage what they do at graduation. It will essentially be a walkthrough, which is required. It says needs permission. We'll fix that as soon as this is over. And then hopefully parents, you saw the post about the clap out on Tuesday. We would love to have you here. You get to be front row, the first people that see seniors. Mr. Berkman is fixing the viewer rights on that right now. It's good to go. He said he just changed it. So you'll get to be for the clap out at 2:15. Parents can start lining the hallway directly outside of the cafeteria. Students will walk through that hallway and then up the breezeway. We'll have the elementary students in the lower breezeway, the high school students in the upper breezeway. So if you want to be here for that, then we need you here at 2:15, and the students will probably start their walkout around 2:25 because we have to get them through that crowd and be able to get elementary and high school kids on their buses before the buses leave, because the buses leave strictly at 2:50. So we need to make sure that we have that opportunity. Okay, I'm glad it works now. Perfect. Okay, anything else we can think of? We're super excited. We hope we remembered to tell you everything you need to know. But if we've forgotten anything, you'll be getting more emails. So we'll make sure to stay in touch. And if you have questions, we know that it's not something that many of you saw last year if you didn't have a graduate last year or weren't invited into someone's car last year. And so we know that it's an idea that seems a little bit of a reach, but I'm telling you, the people who were there last year, they loved it, and we love it, and the kids loved it. So I know it's not what some of you wanted, but I think you're going to end up liking it. We hope you end up liking it. There will be 2 photo booths. It's not a booth. We're going to put up 2 big backdrops in the bus lanes behind the stage that families can use before the ceremony starts, between when they arrive and before the ceremony. There will be a teacher standing there to help smush you together and to take one of your phones and take a picture. So if you don't like phone pictures, bring your own camera. There will be several places where a teacher is posted and is able to take a picture for you if you give them your picture taking device. It is going to be a great celebration of our graduates. Yes. They're so excited. The senioritis is strong. The command just approved today. The last 3 days, seniors only get to leave campus for lunch, and it is quite a popular choice. I don't think we had a single senior stay for lunch today. No more questions? Okay, it doesn't seem that we have any further questions. So again, you can email us your questions as you think of it, as you talk to your family about what we've gone through. And as soon as this renders, then we'll have the recording posted and we'll go ahead and attach the PDF to this post so that you have the slides as well. And you should have those shortly. Thank you all. Have a wonderful weekend.